Iranian. It's worth pointing out that the strike on the Iranian nuclear sites will almost certainly result in thousands of Americans' deaths at bases throughout the Middle East and cost the United States tens of billions of dollars. The cost of future acts of terrorism on America's soil. Wait, what? U.S. sinks Iranian ship? Really? Tucker Carlson comes out against attacking Iran. We're pointing out that the strike on Iranian nuclear sites will almost certainly result. Oh, okay. He's not actually playing, is he? Report in Arabia. The U.S. military destroyed a Houthi ballistic missile production plant in the Al Salif district near the port of Hodeidah. Dozens of casualties reported. Iranian fighter jets flying in the country's skies, air bases on full alert. Reliable Iranian sources report an increase in the number of flights by the Revolutionary Guard fighter jets in Iranian skies. Iranian Fars News reports following the approval of Iranian Security Committee, it was decided in a single and final reading to eliminate Abu Muhammad al-Jawlani in the immediate time frame. This decision comes in light of the difficult situation in Syria and Lebanon. Oh, there it is. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Islamic Republic of Iran. The coming hours will be etched in the memory of the Zionist infidels. Senior officials in Iran's security establishment and military personnel gathered for a meeting a few months ago at the National Security Council in Tehran. Initial reports of a massive U.S. attack in the area of Yemen's capital, Sana'a. Arab reports indicate a wave of attacks in Yemen, with explosions said to be shaking the ground. From the results of an American attack on a government building in Al-Juf province, northern Yemen, report the presidential palace in Sana'a, Yemen, was attacked by the U.S. The Al-Habashi iron factory in Al-Hadayda, Bajil, was completely destroyed in U.S. attacks. Ballistic missiles are being moved at bases in Iran. Russian fighter jets are taking off from Khmeimim Air Base in Syria. Reports from Yemen indicate that experts from Iran's Quds force were killed during the latest wave of U.S. strikes in Al-Hadayda province. It's all happening all at once. Jeez. Holy shit. Apparently the US just sunk one of their intel ships. Iranian intel ship Zagros Sigint was sunk by the US forces in wide-ranging strikes against Hamas targets in the Gaza Strip by Israel happening simultaneously. Jeez. So they're going full force. Correction, the fake news being spread on X about Iran and the United States. 3 U.S. aircraft carriers are not currently approaching Iran. Oh, okay, so it has not been sunk. The Zagros Iranian spy ship has not been sunk. U.S. Iranian vessels are not exchanging fire in the Red Sea. Why are there people saying it? Death to America. Iranian is not against the American, but they're against the American deep state that they're in this war. Islamic Jihad, the WHO HMRC.
بدانید که این شعار شما مرگ بر آمریکای شما این فریادی که ملت ایران میکشن این دارای یک پشتوانه و عقبه
Syrian army attacks the Lebanese. Iranian-backed militia with missiles using their best. As Trump made it clear, Iran behind the Houthis, any attack by them on U.S. troops is essential in Iranian attack. The president has the authority to strike back immediately in self-defense. Yeah, basically. Let nobody be fooled. The hundreds of attacks being made by Houthi, the sinister mobsters and thugs based in Yemen, who are hated by the Yemeni people, all emanate from and are created by Iran. I don't think they're created by Iran. Let's be real. They are funding. Well, Iran seems to be funding in the fucking Middle East. To what extent, we don't know. Funding fucking terrorist groups, apparently. Any further attack or retaliation by the Houthis will be met with great force. And there is no guarantee that the force will stop there. Iran has played the innocent victim of the rogue terrorists from which they've lost control. But they haven't lost control. They're dictating every move, giving them the weapons, supplying them with money, and highly sophisticated military equipment, and even so-called intelligence. Every shot fired by the Houthis will be looked upon from this point forward as being a shot fire from the weapons and leadership of Iran, and Iran will be held responsible and suffer the consequences, and those consequences will be dire. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America. Iran responded to Trump's warning about not funding the Houthi. The United States government has no authority or business dictating Iranian foreign policy. That era ended in 1979. Iran's foreign. That means Iran will continue helping the Yemenis. I mean, that's not what he. What? Yeah, okay. There's nothing wrong with helping right the civilian population. But I mean, if terrorist organizations are gonna get their hand on it, I mean, well, that's unfortunate, right? They're just gonna be fucking put down, right? My grandfather, Ambrose Finnegan, used to say, if you're lucky enough to be Irish, you're lucky enough. Joe Biden signed an executive order. The fucking printing machine. 2010 VP Joe Biden. We waste a heck of a lot of money. 1/3 of Medicare goes to nothing useful. We have to figure out how to stop it from bankrupting the country. Welcome to Doge.
Care benefits in this. We're trying to eliminate the third of the problem that's a waste. And this is a big entitlement. It's a big entitlement. Medicare, it exists. We got to figure out how to keep it from bankrupting the country without denying seniors what they're entitled to. Everybody also agrees, I got from this morning, but I think
too bad Joe Biden isn't the same.
and I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't. So they said they were walking out to press conference. I said, no, I said, I'm not going to, we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said. I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion. I said, you're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, 6 hours? I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Oh, son of a bitch. Got fired. And I went over for, I guess, the 12th, 13th time to Kyiv, and I was.
So he wanted to get a judge fired so that he can do his weird political game. Alright, President Trump, stop bombing Yemen and exit Middle East.
Stop. Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to the weekly report. President Trump, stop bombing Yemen and exit the Middle East. Over the weekend, President Trump ordered a massive military operation against the small country of Yemen. Was Yemen in the process of attacking the United States? No. Did the president enact?
Well, I mean, he was attacking the Houthis who were attacking the cargo ships. So then in turn, I guess Trump was like, well, if they're going to keep attacking the cargo ships and leave that area, right, in kind of a dangerous strait, well, he's just gonna fucking bomb them all. Motherfucker just airstrike them all.
Case go to Congress and seek a declaration of war against the country?
I didn't think he was going to do that either.
No.
That was insane.
The fact is, Yemen hadn't even threatened the United States before the bombs started falling.
No, it wasn't even Yemen though. It was the Houthis. See, he's not using the Houthis. Obviously, the Houthis are inside Yemen. It's just he doesn't want to say that for some reason.
Last year, candidate Trump strongly criticized the Biden administration's obsession with foreign interventionism to the detriment of our problems at home. In an interview at the Libertarian
maybe stop
National
attacking
Convention,
merchant vessels
he criticized
and maybe it'd be
Biden's
okay.
warmongering to podcaster Tim Pool.
I don't know. Maybe
saying,
just don't fuck
you
with
can
the
solve
merchant
problems
vessels.
over a telephone instead.
And it's not even our merchant vessels. It's our allies' merchant vessels. Right? Yeah. I mean, we do have an interest, but it's not any of our merchant vessels. Oh, well, the US in particular. We do have an interest, but it's not our vessels. It's like Japanese and it's that region area. We're just helping. That's all.
They start dropping bombs. Recently, they're dropping bombs all over Yemen. You don't have to do that.
I don't think Trump needed to do that either. I don't know what he was trying to do. I guess he wants ships to be able to freely go and from that area to cut down on the cost of going to. So if we were to look at the map, I think what they are. Right, so what they are doing is they're trying to get through this area, right, to the Red Sea. Right, they're trying to get through this area, I would assume. But in order to get through this area, unfortunately, there's a bunch of Houthi motherfuckers all over in this area. Not only that, but you got the Somali butt pirates too. Don't forget about that. So that's fun too. You got the Somali butt pirates, and then you got the the Houthi fuckheads. So that's fun. So I see
Yeah,
no
once
issue.
in office, Trump turned to military
I mean, also, our taxpayer money is already right. Our money is already being spent in that, so might as well use it, right? Why not use it?
force as his first option since the Israeli-Hamas ceasefire plan negotiated by President Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff. Yemen was left Red Sea shipping alone. However, after Israel's implemented a total blockade of humanitarian relief to the citizens of Gaza last week, Houthis leaders threatened to again begin blocking Israel's Red Sea shipping activity. That was enough for President Trump to drop bombs and launch missiles for hours.
Oh, see? So there was a reason for dropping bombs and launching missiles. See, you just didn't say it in the beginning. Oh, come on, Paul. Ron Paul. What's wrong? I mean, it's not like we want to do this, but, I mean, they started it.
Killing several dozen Yemeni citizens, including
Don't start
women
what you
and
can't
children,
finish.
in the process. After the attack, Trump not only threatened much more force to be used against Yemen, but he also threatened
I
Iran.
mean, did those guys have to attack the ships? No, but they did. And put civilians at risk.
His national security advisor, Mike Waltz, added that the U.S. may start bombing Iranian ships in the area, a move that would certainly lead to a major Middle East war.
I mean,
Like
there's
recent
already
Presidents
kind
Bush
of a
and
conflict
Obama,
going on with all
candidate
the
Trump
terrorist
promised
organizations
peace
in that
after
area.
4 years of Joe Biden's warmongering
targeting
and
Israel.
World War III
And Israel's just
brinkmanship.
fucking shooting
There is little
rockets at
doubt
everyone.
that with our war-weary population,
Doing like
this proved
operations
the
all over the
margin
fucking
of his
place.
victory. Unfortunately, as with Bush and Obama, now that he is president, he appears to be heading down a different path. The Republican Party is gradually becoming a pro-peace, American First Party. But the warmongers and the neocons of the old line in the party are not going to let go so easily. Unfortunately, many of these dead enders have found their way to senior positions in Trump's administration, with voices of restraint and non-intervention nearly nowhere in sight among his top tier of advisors. To solve the Yemen problem, we must understand it. Russia and Chinese ships, for example, are not being threatened because they are not enabling the Israeli demolition of Gaza. The slaughter there has been facilitated with U.S. money and U.S. weapons. It is the U.S. doing Israelis' bidding, both in Gaza and in the Red Sea, that is painting a target on us and unnecessarily putting our troops at risk of retaliation.
I think it was the same way before. Netanyahu literally just tells us that he's gonna do something and he does it. Right? I think even Trump said that it's out of his hands. And it's up to Netanyahu whatever he wants to do because that's his that's his area. Right? He's the one looking over that area. He's the one dealing with that shit. Right? Not the US. Right? We're not on the front lines. He is. So I think that's why Trump was like, yeah, that's up to whatever Netanyahu wants to do. Or what does he call it? BB?
The U.S.
His
government,
nickname,
starting
for
with
some
Biden
reason?
and continuing now with Trump, seems eager to make this our war, even though, as Representative Thomas Massey pointed out over the weekend, Red Sea shipping is of minor importance
I get what he's trying to
the
say,
U.S.
but
economy.
we did.
In
Don't
a
get me
real
wrong. We did.
America First foreign
we
policy,
did help.
we would be
Trump
following
helped
the
out
Russian
and
and
fucking
Chinese lead
shooting
in staying
some
out
people
of the
down.
conflict.
That's for sure.
It's not our war. End U.S. military involvement in the Middle East and our troubles disappear. It's really is that simple. Thanks for listening. Red Sea shipping is of minor importance to the U.S. economy. In a real America First foreign policy, we would be following the Russian and Chinese lead in staying out of the conflict.
I mean, we technically are, aren't we? Well, until fucking he did that thing. Yeah. Was no wars, but he's already bombing Yemen in less than 2 months, you fuck. Well, I mean, there's, it's, again, there was already a conflict to begin with. So them saying no war, oh right, this has nothing to do with Trump either. This was already happening during Biden. So it's like, I don't, you're crying for nothing, dude. You're crying over fucking nothing. Do you even know what the fuck is happening? Or were you oh, he's a feminist. Oh, yikes. Fucking. And he's got a fucking hippie sign in his goddamn tags. Yeesh. Nice AI. You're still wondering why the U.S. has been attacking the Houthis in Yemen. This is why. Yeah. Yeah, literally. It's because they want to cut down on trade route. What's that? Oh, that's Jackson. Anyways, El Salvador. He got. My Trump's Detroit game matters. The mega president is blatantly un-American and morally wrong. What do you mean? We paid for it. Or actually, that's what we wanted, really. New House Republicans are planning to impeach federal judge James Boasberg after he stopped the Trump admin from possibly illegally deporting Venezuelans to El Salvador using wartime law for 1798. Well, I mean, they're probably looking at him like, why the fuck were you trying to stop us, you fucking weirdo? Like, dude, these guys are fucking criminals, and some of these guys have, like, repeat offenses, like, and you want them to be let back into the fucking country? The fuck out of here. Deport their asses. Venezuelan. Full on dark mode over a 13-year-old kid who has survived cancer is never. Oh. Oh, hello. Your favorite Venezuelans? I'm sorry, who? Are they all VTubers? Gross. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, VTubers. Shots fired. Venezuela deported by Trump arrive in mega president El Salvador. Yep. What time is that? 11:10? Okay. I gotta go soon. I got class in the morning. If I become president of Ireland, I will deport all illegal immigrants and foreign criminals. There will be no Palestinian or other flags. Only the Irish flag will be raised on Irish soil. It's high time America was made aware of what's going on in Ireland. The Irish government has destroyed Ireland throughout immigration, and friendly media coverage has enabled it. I hate to say it, but it's like Australia and all these other Western Eastern governments that are like trying to like hide all the crime, right? The crime that sometimes happens. Especially, especially Australia with that fucking, with the church stabbing. Yeah, that was pretty fucking blatant. Oh no, we don't want to show this because it might look bad for our country. The pardons that Sleepy Joe Biden gave to the unselect committee of political thugs and many others are hereby declared void. Oh, that's why that's why they were talking about it. Oh, vacant and of no further force or effect because of the fact that they were done by AutoPen. Oh yeah, that's right, the AutoPen shit. Yeah. In other words, Joe Biden did not sign them, but more importantly, he did not know anything about them. The necessary pardoning documents were not explained to or approved by Biden. Oh, I kind of see. I see. Basically, they just chose whoever they wanted, and they just gave to Biden just to sign. I mean, that's right. That's a possibility, right? I don't think they actually did that. That would be fucking stupid, to be honest. Yeah. And for those on the Unselect Committee who destroyed and deleted all evidence obtained during their 2-year witch hunt of me and many other innocent people, should fully understand that they are subject to investigation at the highest level. The fact is, they were probably responsible for the documents that were signed on their behalf without the knowledge of consent of the worst president in the history of our country, Crooked Joe Biden. Crooked Joe. Oh, you're so crooked, Mr. Joe. Oh, Crooked Joe. You're very crooked, Joe Biden. You're very crooked. Whoa, what the fuck? Take it easy. A squared plus B squared equals C squared? Oh yeah, I remember this one was officially to work. I've seen this one. Yeah, it's a bunny. Oh, what the fuck? What the fuck happened? What the shit?
Oh! Touch that bunny! Let that fucking bunny go! Let the bunny go! What the fuck are you doing? No, the fuck is not! Well, don't grab him like that. It's God's money, bitch. And you're a liar. I was sitting right there.
What the fuck?
It's not your bunny.
That lady went cracked out over a fucking book. What the fuck? You know they like a boss. Cat bunny. I have question. Where the fucking bunny go? What the fuck? What the fuck? What the? God damn. Why? Why? It's a bunny. Fucking bunnies. A good rabbit soup is pretty nice. Turtle soup. Alright, anyways, let's move on.
You know, every now and then I wake up and I want to see what the left... every now and then I wake up and I want to see what the left is up to. What are they doing? What are they grumbling about? Because it's important. You know, you get some criticism.
Is
to your
Destiny
side.
still bitching?
And there are a lot of criticisms that you can put on the Republican.
Is he still being a?
None of them come from the left.
Is he
because
still
the
being
left
a
are
baby?
complaining about things that are normal, right? Like you get something that every nation
Is
on
he still
planet Earth
being
is doing,
retarded?
and the moment Trump does it as well, the left freaks out. And you know that they wouldn't freak out if a Democrat did it. So, like, what's on the agenda today? What's upsetting them? Well, you know, when you want to know about the left, you go to Destiny, right? Like, he is the guru. You don't go to CNN. You don't go to MSLSD. No,
If you want to throw bets down, yeah, just go ask Destiny. That's gonna kill all, just like XQC did. Fucking idiots.
You go to Destiny. That's where the most important
Fucking
talking points on the
idiots.
internet are. And what is Destiny saying today? Well, when he's not upset about firefighters or getting involved into various controversies,
Gambling,
upset
brain
that the free
rotted
speech warriors
idiots.
aren't free speeching for the people chanting on behalf of Hamas, right? So, like, where are the free speech warriors? Where are they? Well, you killed them, Destiny. Your side has butchered them. Every single last one of them. See,
Murdered.
after years of indoctrination, for decades, where we understood that it's not about free speech, it's about safety, right? It's about
Yeah.
safe spaces. Yes,
well,
safe
safety,
spaces,
security.
political correctness, saying the correct things, being on the right side of history. Well, you managed to
I
persuade
mean, I guess you
a
can
lot
say
of
security
right-wingers.
is
They're on
under
your
that
side now,
umbrella.
especially
Mainly
the
security.
religious people. Like, the religious people also understand. Yeah, like, hold on a little bit. The Bible doesn't say about free speech. Oh, you know, the leftists have a point. The leftists are right. All jokes aside, though, it would be nice if, before putting the word free speech in your mouth, you'd actually understand what it is. Like, you'd
Yeah,
actually not just read the Constitution, but see how
that's
it's
true.
applied. And then you would understand that what Trump is doing by taking away the visa of certain people on campuses that are doing agitation and propaganda against the American citizens is not a violation of free speech. Because I got like a lot of people saying, oh, well, J.D. Vance is going to Europe and lecturing others about free speech. Well, what a hypocrite, because in America, free speech is dead. They're deporting university students. Oh, goodness gracious. So what is going on?
What?
Well, how are those people in your country?
These guys
They're
aren't
in
even
your country
citizens,
because they got a visa.
right? These guys
Now,
are
let's
guests in the
Assume
country
that I would
to-
want to go
to
into
learn,
the
to
United
study.
States to study, and I go there to get a visa. And I go to the U.S.
Oh, these
Embassy,
guys get
and they will
fucked if
ask me
they
a
break
couple
the
of
rules.
questions, right? Like, first
You
they
break the
look to see
rules,
if you qualify.
you're-
Then they ask
you're
you why you
gonna
want to
get
go there. I say,
fucking
because I
slammed.
want to study. I got to get myself educated. I'm a moron, but America has, like, really great university that can turn you from a moron into a genius. It can turn you into an expert. I want to be an expert into gender studies. I want to master the lesbian dance therapy. You know, like, and only in America can I do that. And they'll go like, okay, V.
Slava
And then they ask
Ukraine.
you a couple of questions like,
Sorry.
what person you are, what you believe in. Now let's assume that I would claim that I'm a strong supporter of Hamas and I want to go there in order to perform agitation and propaganda with the other American students. Do you
for
think
the
that they would allow me in
Houthis.
if I said that?
Yes, for Hamas.
Do you think they would give me a visa if I
for
told them
Mr.
that? Well, the
Hamas,
answer is no.
Hassan Hamas
So
Piker.
why is it that if you manage to get past that point, but then you behave in a way that they wouldn't give you a visa, why do you think they can't take it away from you? Because when you get a visa, again, you know, like, it's funny how Destiny knows all the laws, right? Like, he knows about fake electors and he starts talking about legal technicalities. But he doesn't know that one of the reasons that a visa can be revoked is if you're actually posing a danger to national security or public safety. Well, if you look at the United States and you get to see, like, various Tesla and automobile dealerships getting trashed, you know, people with Tesla having their cars destroyed. It's an
if you are trying to cause civil unrest, right? If you're trying to cause, like, public disturbances, civil unrest, right, and you're trying to incite people to do it alongside with you, and you're not even a citizen, it's like, dude, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? What the fuck are you doing? Not only that, but you're also breaking the rules by vandalizing shit.
Explaining that is done for political reasons. The people that are doing it are saying
you
it's
just
done
keep
for
adding on
political
to
reasons.
right. You just keep
That
adding
is a
on
matter
to
of
you
public
getting
safety.
fucked.
Yeah, like, it turns out that American businessmen want their businesses left alone. They just want to sell a product, right? And so if you have agitators coming in and destroying their businesses,
Yeah, exactly.
that is a public
Don't
safety
agitate
concern.
shit.
And so that is actually a reason to take away someone's visa. That's not a free speech issue. They're not being locked up, by the way. Right? Like that would be a free speech violation. Like, if you have a foreigner that comes into the United States, says something, and then he gets locked up because he said things. They're not getting locked up. They're getting deported, right? Like, their original country is not a prison. I understand it's a very beautiful country. It's not a shithole, right? So, like, if you're for diversity,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
you're like, all
That too.
cultures are equal,
They're
what's
not
so bad if
being
they're getting
right.
deported? Anyway,
They're not being imprisoned. They're not going to jail. They're getting their ass deported.
interesting point here.
Completely
is that
different.
In the European Union, you would actually get arrested. Like, if you go to Germany, right, and you join a student protest where you're promoting Nazism, let's say, right? In America, you can do that. Like, they have no laws that would bar you from promoting Nazism. But in Germany,
Correct.
they do, and they would lock you up.
Yeah, in Germany they do though.
Now, I'm not saying that people should promote Nazism, but I'm giving you an example between the difference of a country that would actually lock you up for just flapping your mouth for things you say versus a country that wouldn't. In the United States, you can literally say anything you want. You can even go in front of a cop and show him the middle finger. Like, that's fine. In Europe, you can't do that. You get arrested. Right? Like, that is the major difference. Again, like, I don't know how a person like Destiny that understands all the legal technicalities and, you know, that he starts quoting legal shit that people haven't even thought about.
You
But he
could
just
give
doesn't know the
people the
difference
middle
between having
finger.
free speech and not.
It'd be
No
super
country on
disrespectful,
planet
but
Earth
you could.
would allow agitators
Because
on
it's
its
just
soil.
you
if
just
they're
seem
not
like a
citizens.
fucking
I mean, America
aggressive
just had a
aggro
TikTok
person
ban.
at that
It
point.
lasted for a couple of hours, but still, I didn't see the left freaking out about it. The Democrats were on board with that as well, right? So all of a sudden, that's not a free speech issue, but now, they're deporting people that are supporting Hamas. I see. Shocking. Now, let me put it this way. Let's say that Joe Biden is still president.
Yeah,
right?
it's so weird. People keep running defense for criminal activity, terrorist activity. Like, what do we do? What? These people are fucking criminals. Stop running defense for these people. All they do is cause crime. Running defense for them? Like, what? Do you want to be tried with them? Like, what? Did you do something in your past? Like, what the fuck?
and you have like people coming in supporting white supremacy on liberal campuses, and they're actually succeeding. Like they're forming
Yeah, it's like it's yeah, it's like people are starting to become fucking skinheads again.
genuine white supremacist movements on university campuses.
Seriously.
And Joe Biden takes away their visas. Do you think Destiny would be like, well, what are the free speech warriors?
This fucking radical bullshit, right? It's getting out of hand.
Assemble the free speech warrior counts. No, he would probably be like, yeah, I'm in base. That's the, of course.
And half of them don't even, right, half of them aren't even willing to die on the fucking hill that they're fucking spouting their bullshit on. Right, some of them are just doing it because it's just like, oh, I can, we'll fight the power. It's like, what? They're just doing it because they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
I mean, obviously they should, right? It is also interesting, you know, because
Right, that one fucking dumb college retard was like, "Oh, what are we doing this this protest for?" It was, I think it was the Palestinian stuff that she got caught. She got caught out.
because people on the left, they think that if someone has morals, they will always have morals. Well, it also depends like how you treat people, you know? Like you can
Yeah,
have...
not only that, but it feels like people are trying to get like brownie points just to feel good. And like and to feel validated, and then they go around telling other people that they feel validated for what they did and that they need to be more like them or some shit. It's like, dude, get the fuck out of here.
a moral individual.
I want to fucking break your legs. Get the fuck out of here. Leave me alone.
Like, you can't go as Destiny and basically make statements such as, if you're a Trump supporter... No, I don't know how he framed it, but he basically implied it that if you go to a Trump rally and you get shot, that he doesn't care, right?
Oh, yeah, that stuff. Yeah, Destiny saying all that shit was pretty fucking stupid.
Like, you can't say that about people and then expect those same people who may have been, you know...
Yeah, it's like, like, when you say that shit, it's like you're obviously going to get people who are going to retaliate the same way, you fucking idiot.
Tolerant and...
I mean, obviously, Destiny can take it because he's fucking a flamboyant piece of shit, but, you know...
compassionate, but when they see how you're behaving towards them,
he's a Fed poster too.
The emotional human thing to do is to reciprocate.
He's a Fed posting flamboyant shithead.
You know, like why should people care about your issues now?
Same with Hassan.
Especially when you don't even know what free speech is. No one is getting arrested for saying stuff in America. That would be a free speech violation. No, they're getting deported. And when they got their visa, they were specifically told that if you go into the United States, you shouldn't do agitation and propaganda, right? Like, you shouldn't be a national concern, and you shouldn't be a public safety hazard. So yeah, like, getting visa to other countries is a privilege. It's not a right. Now, if they were American citizens, that would be a different thing, right? Like, revoking their citizenship. Okay, then we can have a conversation about that.
Yeah, but no, these people aren't citizens.
It's also fascinating.
These
Like,
people
why
are
would you even want to do
guests.
that? Like, imagine going to China, right? And when you're a student there, you start doing agitation and propaganda against the Chinese government. You start talking about the Tiananmen Square and other
Oh
shit.
yeah, don't do that.
Yeah,
don't do that.
Or you go to China to subvert them. Like, I'm not
That would
saying
be a
that the
bad
Chinese
idea to
government
do
is
that in
correct,
China.
or that it didn't commit crimes
Say
and
all that
atrocities, right?
shit.
But like, put yourself in the shoes of a person that goes to China.
Right, it'd be the same way
as a
with
student
going to
to start
Japan
up
and
shit. Like,
bringing
the only
out right
logical
Hiroshima
conclusion would
and
be that
stuff
he
like
is
that. It's
paid,
just like,
right?
don't do that.
Either that or he's a
Like, come
useful
on.
idiot, but clearly, like any person
Those
that
are
goes in
human
another nation to
beings.
study
Come
goes in
on.
another nation to fucking study, not worry about that nation's politics. But then again, you know, that's just my view as a backwards Eastern European.
Or being
What do
a
I know?
fucking retard
Let me
like
know what
Johnny
you guys think,
Somali and
and as
fucking
usual, I'll see you in the
fucking
comment
with the
section.
statues you shouldn't be
Take care.
disrespecting. that fucking idiot. Jesus. Let's see what's going on over here with the sonic cannon. Protesters hit with sonic cannons.
In Belgrade, Serbia, thousands of
Oh, yeah, the
protesters
Serbia
to
shit.
potentially hundreds of thousands of In Belgrade, Serbia, thousands of protesters to potentially
I think Asmongold has some videos on this too.
hundreds of thousands of protesters march to the streets against their government by blocking their universities.
So we gather here to support the students who will be blockading their universities for quite a long time. This is probably one of the largest protests Serbia has ever seen. We just needed to wait for the right moment, and right now everything smells like change.
Until 11 minutes into a 15-minute moment of silence, they reported getting hit by a sonic cannon.
Oh, I didn't hear anything. Yeah,
Now,
everyone
one
just
Redditor
start.
reported it felt like a semi.
Yeah, that was weird. I didn't hear anything. It felt like a semi-truck going full speed at you and max with an airplane flying right above your head. Completely unexpected given that the protests are 100% peaceful, at least from the protester side. Also, it was used during a 15-minute silence in honor of 15 people that tragically died because of the government corruption. Oh, so this is about the scaffold, the bridge or what, the bridge or scaffolding that fell and right, crushed those people. Yeah, hold on. Let's go back to. I didn't hear anything. What are they talking about? Yeah, so everyone like freaked out for some reason.
7 minutes into a 15-minute moment of silence, they reported getting hit by a sonic cannon.
I mean, you see people already moving. Hold on, let's slow it down. You hear whistles, right? And then right here, you see people just start fucking panicking and running. Yeah, that didn't make any. There was no loud sound or anything. People. Yeah, it's like people started looking over there. Yeah, people are looking over there for some reason, and then they fucking ran or panicked. That's fucking weird. What the hell happened?
Now, one Redditor reported it felt like a as it was more of a shockwave airplane right over your head. As it was more of a shockwave.
That's weird because we didn't hear anything on the or on that audio feed. Right? If it was a sonic or shockwave or sonic boom like that, you would have clearly heard it or heard something, right? That would have sounded like a big bang, right? But no, nothing. Instead, you had a bunch of whistles and shit. Yeah, and it says right here, it's more like a shockwave than an audible boom. So apparently they felt something.
Than a sonic boom, but went straight through your body into your organs, extremely disorienting and uncomfortable. Now, it's hard to verify any of this, so we just gotta do our best to cross-reference anecdotes and video evidence to try to find the truth.
Yeah, I mean, given from what all, yeah.
reported on the unexplained noise that startled the protest, where an independent outlet stated it was an acoustic weapon or sonic cannon, which is part of the Serbian Security Services arsenal, while the local police denied its use, stating it would have not been in accordance to the law. Which is interesting, as several angles show the police retreating right before the protesters began fleeing. Now, I'm not going to make any definitive statements on what I think of these protests, as obviously I don't speak Serbian and rely entirely on the official outlet's translation on what they're saying and Reddit replies, as anybody can make up stories or add subtitles to another language to completely change the context of anything. But what we do know is these protests have been going on for a while, as they were originally angry at the government's response to the railway station collapse that ended the lives of 15. And that's all I can pretty much confirm on the outside in, as the students seem angry at their president that I can't even pronounce his name correctly. I believe it's Alexander Vucic, and correct me in the comments if you know how to say it,
Yeah.
but from what I can tell, he has a long history of support from the Soros family, so take that information however you like. As Reuters reports on the rallies, stating there have been months of these protests where their government denies accusations of incompetence, but says Western intelligence agencies are backing the push to destabilize them. And it is interesting to see.
What? What? Wait, what? What are you talking about? Yeah. I'm just observing. What?
Protesters waving the flags from not Serbia were quickly shut down from.
Yeah, and you can clearly see these flags are, I think this is from Croatia.
Joining the protest.
At least that color, that look. That's a Palestinian flag right here. This is a Ukrainian flag right here. I was like, what? Oh wait, that's not the Croatian flag. That's a different one. That's red, white, or red, blue, and white. The Croatian one is red, white, and blue, and then it has the Croatian sigil on it. What is that? Oh, that might be wherever they are.
So I believe it's a mix of everything. Students
that might
banding
be
together
the
to
Serbian
protest
flag?
their government, outside forces trying to infiltrate their group to push their own agenda, and probably a local police force using the LRAD against their own
Yeah,
citizens.
that was the Serbian
As
flag.
I also saw posts online of people saying it was actually a flashbang that scared the protesters. And
Was
as
it a
these are just
flashbang?
random anonymous accounts, they have about as much credibility as that original Reddit reply. Except I haven't seen any footage of the flashbang, and from the
Yeah, from what it looked like, people were looking in a certain direction, and then they got spooked, and then they fucking ran.
evidence we did see, it seemed consistent with the LRAD. As this sounds like sci-fi, but the long-range acoustic device was developed back in the 2000s and was actually used in America 4 years ago.
It's actually called the LRAD device, and earlier today, police demonstrated the device for members of the press. They say it is primarily a communication tool, but the warning tone can be used to defend themselves in immediate safety situations. And last night, police say they deployed it twice when lasers were pointed at the LRAD truck driver and rocks and bottles were thrown at the truck. Police acknowledge it can be dangerous, but not, they say, when it's used correctly.
And there have been cases around the country, we've heard reports that other police agencies have used it in ways that potentially have caused hearing damage.
Which is terrifying when you think of the active denial system, where a Joe Rogan guest, and I'm not sure of his name, explained how scary it is.
In the military called the active denial system. They can send a
Oh, not this guy. But yes, they do have a system like that.
beam at a crowd coming to attack and make them stop still right in their tracks. They can make you feel like you're on fire, make you feel like you want to vomit. They can even put voices in your head.
Well, I mean, it's probably because it messes with your fucking hippocampus, right? It fucking basically rocks you place. Right, it's like being it's like being almost knocked out in a sense.
They can make you be in extreme pain. It's called the active denial system.
And honestly, I think this is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of what new horrifying
The
weapons exist in
whiplash of someone
2025.
fucking
So
rocking
if the
your
authorities
brain,
are willing to
if your
scramble
brain
your
hitting the
insides after a
fucking
few months,
your
I'd be
skull.
terrified to think of what they'd do after a year. So hopefully Serbia can find a resolution that satisfies their citizens before this gets any spicier. But if you appreciate my concise, lighthearted commentary on the tragic status that is today's reality. Hopefully I've earned your subscription.
Yeah, I don't know.
Then be sure to
Yeah,
like
from
the
what
video
the videos
and leave a
show,
comment,
yeah,
as apparently
it's just
that's the only
strange
way to
as
see
shit.
me
They,
return
they
to
all
your
got
YouTube
spooked
feed.
by something and then ran. And then there was a bunch of people using whistles, so it was like, people fucking making videos and shit. I don't know, man. I don't know. Ah, yes, testing new weapons on their own citizens. Yep, every government ever. I know, right? Those are peaceful protests, like real ones. And you know, either the corrupt politicians or the police bosses or both want to stir up the crowd. They get money from Soros. Soros is an evil man. Brown notes. The brown. The fucking South Park brown note. The brown note that fucking makes you shit yourself. Oh, oh, is she just gonna go over the mass migration? Yeah. I'll probably just watch. I already know. I feel like we're just like beating it. Doesn't it's right, it's been played over and over again. Broken record all over. What's this? Oh yeah, I wanted to let's do this one.
Okay, so this is fun. I've got a question for my American friends. Okay, so this is fun. I've got a question for my American friends. How does a $1,000 PS5 Pro sound? Or
that sounds awful. Sounds very awful, and I don't want to pay that much for a fucking... Right, it's already bad enough that you already have to pay for a PC that's like, right, $1,000 well, right, you could probably do an $1,000 build, right? Probably want to do AMD, especially if you want to get like the best GPU or maximize the GPU, right?
Or maybe even a $400 Switch. And I guess if you're Nintendo, you're going to be a little bit more spooked about the Switch.
A Switch,
too.
I would
now,
just get a PC.
I
would just save up for a PC instead of getting a Switch.
Those are from the worst case predictions of the American Consumer Technology Association. We like games, we would like to buy games, and that's kind of spooky. And you know what's real funny? George Lucas once again is right. How wrong we were when we eye-rolled at the Phantom Menace's trade negotiations. Just this time, right? It's not corporate greed, it's not price hikes to cover failing products. No, this is the potential impact of the trade war on gaming. Now, we did see a little bit of that last time we went through this fun period. It's a little more spicy now. And once we actually get into the details, that's where things are different to last time, because beyond the
well, I mean, it's the tariffs too that
GPUs
everybody's going to be hit with.
There's a hidden cost, and that hidden cost is the rapid decline of the physical games market.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
yeah.
a decline that the big publishers, well, you know, the big console people.
Yeah, I mean, this has been probably in the works because they've been trying to cut down costs and everything.
People absolutely want to happen, but for a lot of
and
us,
physical
those
discs
represent
is one of
ownership.
those
They represent
things, right?
freedom. And
Right,
this
that's
will be
why
bad
we
for
got
those
rid of
discs.
floppy
Now, it's not all
disks.
doom. I'll be able
That's
to
why
share
we
how
got
some
rid of the
companies have
small
at least
discs.
taken steps to try and avoid the worst impacts on your wallet. But that's in the here and now. And big picture, a lot of troubling trends are actually set to accelerate. Now, because you're watching this, I know you
that's
want
why
to
we
actually
got
know
like
how the
rid
world
of
works.
video
And what we
cassette
can do is break you
tapes,
free
right?
from doom scrolling with just using a few minutes of brilliant.
I mean, you
every
can
day.
probably
They're
still
today's
find
sponsor.
them.
They're awesome, and they're not just another learning
But
platform.
yeah,
They are hands-on
people don't make
problem-solving
that
that
shit
does
anymore.
not feel like studying. Have you ever wondered, say, how Airbnb owners decide where to buy properties, right? Well, Brilliant has got you analyzing real data, basically to try and find the best neighborhoods, while also teaching you how data visualization works. So no matter what you think about that topic, actually knowing how it works really helps you navigate the world. And that's just one example. From maths to data science to computer science, Brilliant teaches you the frameworks that actually stick. It's not about memorization. It's not about theory without context. It is practical knowledge that works. And the education system that I went through basically sucked at all of this stuff. It gave learning a bad rap, and that is why I love Brilliant's mission. Their site is great, but I've got to say their app is absolutely killer. Just a few minutes a day, and yeah, you'll have fun.
Yeah,
You'll have
honestly,
cool
this
stuff.
is
And
a
if you
better
visit
choice
brilliant.org/value
than
the news or click the link down
going
below,
through
you'll get 30
fucking
days
college
for
or
free
university.
and 20% off an annual
In college and
premium
university, it
subscription.
feels
So,
like
big
a
thanks to Brilliant for
slog.
sponsoring the video. Let's go. All right,
Right,
so the big
because
picture
it's
is
like
the USA,
devoid
China,
of,
Canada, and Mexico are all locked in a standoff
sometimes it's
over
devoid
implementing
of
trade tariffs, and this is a damn volatile situation. Like
soul.
literally since we first wrote up this script,
It just
there
feels
have been more
soulless.
tariffs. It really is fun. Now the core principle,
And
right,
that's
is that a
probably
tariff
because
is a
of all
tax that is
the
charged
different
on imports from an affected
teachers
country.
and
So
how
imagine
they
a GPU that is manufactured in China. In order to
and what they
import that
specialize
from
in.
China to the United States, the company doing the importing will have to pay an extra 20%
And they all the
tariff,
teachers
right?
were
And to be
taught
very clear,
differently too,
because
so
I've seen
that's
a lot of confusion over this. That's the
too
company
much.
buying it
Too much.
into
There's
the
no
USA that pays the
standardization,
tariff,
right? There's no
not the company in China who
generalization
manufactured
on
the GPU, right?
work
So big
practice
picture,
or
the point here
teaching
is to make
practices.
foreign-made goods more
Because
expensive
each teacher
for
was
you to
taught
purchase
differently
in your
and
local region, because whoever is buying those goods in to sell to you has
right.
got to pay
They
a
specialize in
20%
different
tariff. For example,
fields.
the whole point is that's more expensive so that you will buy local, which in this case would mean you're buying America-made computer hardware, consoles, and physical games. But the problem is those aren't really a thing. And
Yeah,
this
you
stuff's
can't.
not all a theory. We've actually seen the impact of this already. The first impact
Yeah.
was felt on GPUs. So the RTX 50
Yeah,
cards, right, that whole
we don't
series, they
make
went up
these
in
in
price
America
because
that
of these
much.
tariffs. The retailer Newegg basically confirmed
Well,
as
all
much
of it
in a
is made
tweet,
in,
tweets that they've now deleted, which is a bit weird.
overseas
And they later told
countries.
Tom's Hardware that the increases were, quote, due to a
Or at
number of
least
factors that are
the
unfortunately
resources
out of
made
our
to
control,
right
which
put
to me
everything
does
together.
bring tariffs. But there are other things. I mean, the GPU market is pretty damn volatile and chaotic. Nvidia didn't ship enough cards anyway. A lot of accusations of paper launches. So this whole
Thank you,
fluctuation in
Terry,
GPU prices kind
the
of passed
follow.
under the radar, because basically we're all kind of pissed at Nvidia. Now, even if GPUs were previously exempt from tariffs until now, no one is really surprised by expensive GPUs in the current market. So GPUs, expensive, not really a surprise. But the worst impact on your wallet could very much be yet to come. So here's the deal. Manufacturers were allegedly stockpiling newly produced GPUs before the new year, right? With anything that was already in the US exempt from these tariffs, because it had already been imported, it was in a US warehouse. And that means that anything newly produced and then imported would be subject to the tariffs, and that would increase the consumer prices even further. So that kind of sucks. But for gaming especially, it also
does
sucks,
talk
right?
about
and
the
not just for
tariffs.
PC players. So that group that I mentioned, the Consumer Trade Association, they estimated these tariffs could cost US consumers $7 billion more for consoles, just quite a few dollars. Now, the impact here, right? It's more than just your wallet. It is going to go across the industry.
Yeah.
Almost every aspect of
yeah,
it.
that's gonna hit
right
everybody.
now, okay? There is no evidence to suggest that digital products are going to be impacted by these tariffs. And that's because there are various trade agreements that are in place to protect digital goods. Now,
Correct.
that does depend on everyone honoring those agreements.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they won't, but let's assume they will. Let's assume digital will be fine, because we got to talk about what we know would not be fine. And that's physical games. Before doing this story and one previously, I had no idea about this. So, do you know where the majority of American game discs come from? The
Nope.
answer is Mexico. So,
Ah,
that's basically where they are
Mexico.
manufactured. And that means that if the Mexican tariffs continue, publisher costs...
So yeah,
for
and we're
physical games will
we're in a
increase.
tariff
Now, there is some
war
good news
with
here, right? The
fucking
estimates are
Mexico.
suggesting that this would be just under $1 per disc. Now, yeah, that's millions of dollars across millions of discs. It's not huge, but it's also not the whole story. And this is where I'm going to cut to a analyst, Matt Piscatella. He's been in the analyst biz for like 20 plus years, bit of a legend, works for Circana, and he predicts predicts one of two outcomes from this, right? His first prediction, publishers can increase the cost of physical games and also of digital games to ensure price parity. That would be them passing the cost onto your wallet, and then of course making it, fair. And increasing the price of the digital games to match. Of course, those digital games not being impacted by the tariffs. So that would be a sneaky business if they did choose to do it. The other thing they could do, though, is also not really good, because it's just choosing not to produce physical discs at all. Now, they could sell the latter as a consumer good, basically saying, look, we need price parity between them. We're not going to do these physical things anymore. We're going to protect prices for the 60% of the market who are playing digital games. They could probably write up a press release selling that as a good thing. Now, even if the tariffs keep being delayed, right? Because we don't know if this will ultimately end up coming to pass. What we do know for sure, though, is that there's a lot of uncertainty. Uncertainty is bad for business. Uncertainty can also be an excuse. There's a lot of companies doing layoffs and various things based on these tariffs, even though they don't know.
I mean, I bet some of these people have planned. They have planned for certain things, I would assume.
Is just an excuse to do layoffs that some companies plan to do anyway. As for this, though, why would you commission several million discs for a game releasing in 3 months if you've got no idea how much they'll end up costing in the end? But of course, it's not just that. It's also the consoles that play those discs. And you know it is serious when Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft all decide to band together as friends. Now, that's what they did in 2019, whenever these tariffs were proposed, right? They basically banded together and they warned that a 25% price increase would mean that a games console would be, quote, out of reach for holiday spending, that consumers would have to spend $840 million more on their Christmas consoles.
Jesus.
And because they did that in 2019, they got themselves an exception. In 2025, they have not got an exception. And of course, there's a big problem if you're Nintendo and you've got a Switch 2 coming. I mean, yeah, it would suck for Xbox and PlayStation, but, if Nintendo got disproportionately impacted, I'm sure they wouldn't be that sad. Because, of course, their follow-ups, right, the next generation, that's, still going to be a few years. And being real with you, it is the span of the next few years that actually matters. I'm pretty sure you've noticed there's a little bit of a, recalibration of the whole game board, right? In terms of the world politics, multipolarity, all those fun things that are totally out of the scope of this channel. But suffice to say, shit is changing. And now these businesses are trying to work out how they basically survive and how to not price themselves out of the market. And they've been doing that for the last 5 years because they have seen this on the horizon. All three have moved some of their production outside of China. But even with that, the US is still an absolutely huge import market. This was pointed out by Daniel Ahmad of Nico Partners that post-2019, US imports for Chinese products were reduced in real shipping terms. But console imports remained above 75% of the market. So that actually means that console imports are still pretty damn exposed to all of this risk. And it does make sense. Like, rebuilding a whole infrastructure to build all those consoles will take time and money.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work to build a
because they don't have the production facilities in these other places,
money that will be passed down to us. And of course, as the first to launch, Nintendo has likely made the biggest move here. David Gibson,
since they originate solely in one region and don't have any offices or production facilities out in in any other countries or states, provinces, whatever.
Companies just moving their
it's like,
elsewhere. The plan basically being they're still
you're
going to make
limited
a shitload
now.
of consoles in China. It's just they'll go to other places, and the Vietnam consoles will go to America. But that will not mean there is no impact on your wallet, because the cost of moving your whole production, that will have to be recouped somewhere. Let's talk worst case scenarios, and to be honest with you, right, there's some spooky shit to come, but it's actually on top of shit that's already real spooky. If you've watched all of our videos, you may know this, but the TLDR, right, is that when you actually adjust for inflation, premium console spending has been remarkably flat over the years, right? Last year, 2024, actually saw a sales decline. So the vibes have not been good, right?
For me, I don't play consoles. I just play PC.
Change things a bit. So if these tariffs continue,
the only time I would get a console is if there was game exclusives, right? And there are, right, for PS5 and Xbox sometimes. But other than that, not anymore for Xbox, because now they just port everything to PC.
I believe they may have slightly outpaced it, but Microsoft is behind. So it does seem that those console sales basically are on the downtrend anyway. Now, if you start slapping on 10, 20, 25%,
And if anything,
charge,
you could just
shit, those console sales are going to go down.
you could build a
And even if that
PC,
stuff doesn't happen, the risk, the
a
uncertainty
mobile PC
will
if you really
impact how
wanted
much
to.
it costs to do things, right? And that means it'll
That
be
would
passed
be
down
just
to you.
as good,
I mean,
or
a
if
luxury
not
good like
better
new
than a
console or GPU
goddamn
is already something that you
Xbox.
really think about before buying, that you've got to justify, and that is harder if you have 20% more cost. You're not alone if that is your feeling. There's analysts, one example, Joost van Drieden, maybe that's his name. I tried. Anyway, he suggests that even with the best possible outcome, right? And, a new generation of console spiking interests, that console sales would be dropping again as we approach 2030. I suppose that would be the GTA 6 sales bubble finally going away, and us realizing, I don't know, gaming's dead. So, in the worst case, this actually could be building up to be the weakest games market in a decade. What happens to the games industry as a whole in this worst case scenario? Well, physical games would slide further and further into obsolescence. If you care about preservation, that's not good. If you want to be an absolute bandit and borrow a game from your friend instead of downloading it again, or, buying it, rip that, obviously.
Yeah.
PCs and laptops would be far more expensive under these tariffs,
Correct.
so they would not escape fully. But the PC market actually might be uniquely more resilient because you can use your PC for more than just what a games console does. And that means if you are going to be spending a bunch of money,
not only
on
that,
your
but
PC,
you could,
that's
right,
probably where it's
if you really wanted to, right, if you knew your way around computers, you can build a micro PC, right, with the micro ATX board and everything. I get the micro ATX case and whatever.
going to go over something like a console.
It would be, I mean, obviously it would be a little bit bigger than a console, but it would be literally better than a console. As long as you pick
now,
the
that
right
is, of course,
parts.
if audiences don't just switch to, phones and tablets, which would be sad, or maybe settle on streaming platforms like, GeForce Now and stuff, kind of hard to say. Digital spending
and
for
you
PC
could
would
stream
likely
on the
continue to grow,
fucking
basically, but that doesn't necessarily mean
well, I mean,
more games. And if it's anything like the trends that have dominated the last few years, it'll basically go
you
like
can still
this.
stream on the
Less
consoles.
full-priced premium game sales because people have got to be a bit more smart with their money in an economic pinch. Less next-generation games as
I
developers
mean,
basically stay
all it
with a far larger
all it
audience. They
comes
stick
down to is
what they're doing.
price
You'll
point
see more free-to-play games that have got a lower barrier to entry
and budget.
more microtransactions
What is your
to
budget?
monetize that audience, and probably more microtransactions that are geared to be hyper premium. Because the thing about money is, it all actually does have to go somewhere, right? And as wealth inequality, changes, well, why do you think that Riot are doing $250 skins for League of Legends? Because, motherfuckers buy them because they've got a lot
people
of money.
buy them.
Money maybe you don't have. I'm now going to try to do something real dangerous.
I mean, just look at
making
people with the
predictions,
Overwatch.
but I actually
Just
think
look
I'm
at
going
people
somewhere
with
this, right? So
CS:GO.
when, say, an animal
Right,
is
people
backed
buy
into a
those
corner,
skins,
it's going
literally.
to fight for its life. If a mother thinks that the baby is,
Just look at Team
under
Fortress
threat,
2,
it's going to
right?
just
Team
be
Fortress
so
2, I
much
think,
more,
was like
powerful,
the
aggressive, whatever.
originator.
Well, whenever our games companies are a bit
Right,
backed
it
into
all
a corner,
originated
facing
from
some
Valve.
systemic decline. How are they going to get more money? Well, I think I know, actually. I think we're going to see the
And
growth
then
of in-game
fucking
advertising.
EA
We
started
recently
doing
talked
it
about
with their
in a
goddamn loot
video that was
boxes of
really focused on
FIFA.
Steam's
Well, not really
policies.
loot boxes,
if
but
you watch
card
that video,
packs
you'll know
and
it
loot
wasn't just
boxes
about Steam.
next,
It
right?
was about product placement, stuff that we see and say, well, the Kojima production
Yeah, the
games
product
is one
placement
example.
stuff and EA
there's
games
pressure,
a lot.
And this pressure does not necessarily have to come from within the games companies. EA's shareholders were the ones asking Andrew Wilson about ads, because to a game publisher, free money's free money. You've
Free
got
money,
eyeballs.
yep.
Why don't you show an ad and monetize those eyeballs?
Correct.
And as we covered in the Steam video, there's loads of ways you can get around Steam's policy. And while lots of this could be driven by American companies dealing with American problems, well, if ads are coming, that'll come to you. That means that regardless of where you are, you will be paying for the trade war. If American spending decreases, those costs have got to be recouped somewhere else. It's all part of a global network that is under pressure, right?
Yeah.
That money has got to come from somewhere. And if you want to
Correct.
see the way that pressure makes games leadership make really bad calls, I think you should watch this video next.
These games are fake. Oh no! Money printer go burr. We're not money. Geez, yeah. These people think we're fucking money printers. Fucking get out of here. But yeah, ever since Trump started doing the trade war stuff, and right, everyone's been getting into the right, increasing tariffs on everybody. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Right. It's March right now, or March 18th now, right? And April 2nd is when the second round of tariffs are apparently supposedly going to hit, regardless of what anyone says. So we'll see what happens when that time comes. Well, actually, not well, as long as the people have to fix their tariff situation, and then Trump will roll back the tariffs, right? As long as the right, as long as things are the way it is, Trump will not walk back the tariffs. Right, and until these other countries, right, walk back whatever they're doing or stop whatever they're doing, right, Trump will not stop the tariffs. Get ready to wait for the sale prices after launch. Yep. Can't wait for the cheap and affordable console advertisements. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, they're starting to... Right, cheap and affordable housing, cheap and affordable food, cheap and affordable clothing. You see where I'm going with this? Oh, fuck. Oh, that was cheap and affordable games, eh? Cheap and affordable consoles. There you go. Bellular news. No, alright, I got one more left in me, and then I gotta call it, because I got fucking class in the morning.
When I see...
And I'm kind of hungry.
Not all black Republicans, but I see a black MAGA person who is carrying Donald Trump's water, and they know that he's lying. It is the shortest line to the front. Because if you're...
Huh? Donald Trump's lying? Oh, I wouldn't say he's lying. I mean, his rhetoric is kind of like is over the top, right? I mean, if people don't know what Trump's trying to do now, it's like it's plainly obvious, right? Trump is very hyperbolic, right? He blows stuff out of proportion sometimes, purposefully, right? He's trying to rile people up on purpose. I mean, if it gets people to start asking questions about certain things or wanting to start getting involved, so be it, right? I think that's what he was trying to get at.
Black and you're whatever, you're just in line with a bunch of other Democrats that are doing the same thing that
he's trying to see what you say.
But if you become a black MAGA
right?
person, it's like, whoa, let's book this person, let's put him on television.
So you don't think you can be a sincere black MAGA person?
No, I just said I don't think that. I just said I think there can be sincere Republicans,
but you can't be a sincere black Republican.
I don't think that you can. I don't think that you can be a rational MAGA, be black and be a rational MAGA person. I think you can be black and.
Okay, so take the Republican ideology out of MAGA, right? And just think of Make America Great Again as a generalized thing, right? And I'm pretty sure Democrats take on the whole Make America Great Again, right? Based on their own definition as a Democrat. So the fact that he's not even doing that as a goddamn, as who he is like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You're a goddamn American. Just say you want to make America great in a certain way that you feel fit. How hard is that? It's like, Jesus.
Be a Republican.
I think they would find that very insulting.
Well, I mean, the truth is often insulting.
Don Lemon.
The
still
truth is
clown,
often insulting.
Still race baiting, still crying. If
Oh,
I'm a black guy,
okay.
which every Thursday I do identify
Okay,
as one, I'll be
crybaby.
thoroughly insulted by that comment if I'm
Okay,
a black Republican.
gay
Especially when you
crybaby,
consider Donald Trump,
flamboyant
the votes that he
crybaby.
got this year from 2016 increased in the minorities. All
You're
of them.
such a
Absolutely
child.
ridiculous. As you can see, Bill Maher had Don Lemon on his show. I'm play you some clips here. The next one you're going to watch is of Bill talking about the Tom Hanks SNL skit where Tom Hanks plays the MAGA racist on the Jeopardy
yeah.
type game show. Let's get it.
They did one thing, they did a sketch where Tom Hanks puts.
I noticed that SNL barely does any like. I mean, they do Democrat stuff from time to time, but not a lot. It's been mainly based around Trump and the Republicans, which is kind of weird.
It's on a MAGA hat, so he's a Trumper.
I mean, don't get
And
me
then
wrong. SNL
Cam
has some
comes over
good
to shake his
skits
hand, and he
now
won't
and
shake
then,
his
right?
hand. Yeah. And
But
I said
it's
this on
obviously
Fareed
not
show
all
the
the
other day.
time.
I found that that's so old. You know, I didn't vote for him. I get all the bad things about that administration, but if you think they don't shake black people's hands, it's just you're wrong. That's not who they are. Matt Gaetz shakes black people's hands. You know, Kid Rock will shake your hand. It's just not helpful to like think that half the country that's where they are. That's your
Still, you're a comedian. You know, it's part of its comedy.
I understand.
But let's be honest. There's a huge faction of the MAGA movement that's really fucking racist.
I wouldn't say huge, no.
What? Are you? Do you listen to the fucking Democrats? Have you listened to Biden sometimes? You ain't black. Just like, did you listen to Kathy Hochul? Have you listened to like Fannie Willis, Tiffany Henyard, and some of these Black Lives Matter people who are now politicians in some of these states? I almost said countries. But fucking, like, what? You're out of your fucking mind.
I'd say
I would say huge.
Yeah, okay.
Don Lemon
Well, we have
is
different
so
perspectives.
I would
fucking
say huge,
flamboyant.
even if they're not,
This dude's
you
out
have
of his
to
fucking
overlook a lot of that in order to support Donald Trump, which I think is maybe even more egregious than just saying I'm a racist.
Crazy. The next thing we're going to watch is when Don Lemon says that AOC or Jasmine Crockett
Don
should be
Lemon,
the face of the
you're
Democratic
starting to
Party,
sound
which I've
like
read
you're
this in many
racist.
places. People seem to want that on the left. I hope they do, because that just automatically means
He's like,
that
I'm
if I
not
had
a
to see
racist.
Jasmine
You're
Crockett or
racist.
AOC
It's that
in
shit.
2024
It's like,
debating
come on,
JD
dude. What are you
Vance,
doing?
I got 8 years of JD Vance. Please, let it be an AOC and Jasmine Crockett ticket. Let's take a look at the clip.
Yeah, and that's another person, Jasmine Crockett. That's a real racist right there. Fuck that dumb.
AOC. People love Jasmine Crockett. People
No,
love Eric
huh?
Swalwell.
Excuse me?
And the like.
I
And
don't.
I think that the Democratic
He's a
Party
dumb
should
bitch.
put the people out there who the people want. They should put the
See, you know that he's being disingenuous here, because the fact that he's like, oh yeah, Jasmine Crockett is so good. That bitch has said some racist shit. Come on. Don Lemon, you are so disingenuous.
the politicians out there who the people
You're a
want, who
fucking
they're asking
asshat.
for, who are meeting the moment.
You're a
with the same
political
energy
hack.
that
They're
the
not
other side is
asking for
giving.
AOC.
Yes, they are.
The people you party with
No,
are.
no. The people I party with don't like AOC.
Oh.
That's no. For what it's worth, I do hate Bill Maher sometimes, but he is correct on this. Yes, Don Lemon is a lying fuck.
Please.
No, they don't at all.
Well, most people don't.
But
She's
AOC
very far left.
Let me tell you why I'm saying that. Because because people will vote for AOC and Donald Trump on the same ticket because they're authentic.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh no, he's only saying that because people are fucking wild for some reason and wanting that to happen for some reason. No, the American people are just fucking crazy for wanting that to happen for some reason.
No, because they're authentic.
I don't think
Okay.
that Don.
I think you're wrong about that.
What people like about people like Trump and
that's
Fetterman
phony.
is because it's
You don't know-
irrelevant to her life.
I mean, for what it's worth, yes, I have disliked some of the things Fetterman has said, sure, but I mean he's come out and said some okay things. I can't be mad at that. I mean, look, all of these politicians have said some okay things over the years sometimes, right? But right, sometimes right. The things that hit hard the most are the things they fuck up on.
But you don't know their life.
And they fuck up hard on those things.
I know that being a gorgeous woman who I wouldn't even know was Hispanic in a city that's has 1 million Hispanics and does not.
That too, right? If we were to go back and I hate to do this, but if we were to go back in history, all of the southern state, right, from Texas to California, basically all of those southern states, those were a part of Mexico at one point, right? Because before the 13 colonies started pushing out, right, there was Mexican people in those areas too, as well as Indians.
Treat them badly.
But that doesn't mean she doesn't struggle. That doesn't mean that she was set down.
It implies it.
Right, you had South Americans
set
in
down
there,
in Hispanic ghetto
or in
the
those
Bronx
areas,
and had to deal with that growing up, and that she's come from a working class family.
It implies that for some,
or you could say Americans.
It implies that in some way
as
she's
a
behind
generalized
the 8 ball
whole.
because of that, and it's just not true. And so
I don't know if she's behind the 8 ball, but I don't think she's as privileged as many people who are in Congress right now.
Is that privileged or not? She was a bartender.
Yeah,
you know, so
she was a bartender.
I was a delivery boy.
But I'm saying sometimes, Bill, like you don't agree with Donald Trump's policies.
No,
but that's what the people want.
Some of them,
whether you like her or not. I don't like what she did with Amazon in New York. But I think AOC
yeah, what she did
to
New York was so stupid.
If you think that's the direction the country, the Democratic.
I'm not saying the policies that she espouses that's the direction, but I'm saying that you have to give the people who are out front speaking for the party, not the people who are.
If you think
she's evolving,
yeah, she's evolving,
and
as we all are,
and she is moving into
right.
She understands the game a little bit more, and if you notice, she is sort of becoming a sort of normal kind of Democrat in many ways. Yes. I think she's evolving.
I don't know about that. I mean, it was interesting when she started asking like what people were trying to she was trying to figure out what people were using as their news sources, right? And then she started going on about how Donald Trump is an enemy of the state or democracy, right? It's like, okay.
Right, she's get behind that. Another one.
I'm gonna give you my thoughts.
Right, she started to try and start to understand, and then it just went down.
If you're not yet subscribed, it's not your first time here. Hopefully, this could be the video that earn your subscription. Now, let's get to the meat and potatoes of the video, where they discuss DEI policies, and I'll give you my thoughts after the clip. Let's get.
To ascribe to
DEI,
all the people who voted for him, which is a majority of the country.
I didn't say all the people.
No, I understand.
It's not a majority. It's plurality.
Or whatever it is. He won.
Yeah.
It's at least half.
Don Lemon and his fucking... It was a majority, brother. Get the fuck out of here. He won the popular vote, okay? Get the fuck right. You saw the polls, man. Even with California taking so long to do their fucking counting, right? Right, it was already locked in.
I mean, to ascribe his worst traits to all of them.
I don't think it's half the country, but go on.
Well, what is it?
To whatever.
How do you win an election?
Well,
and the popular
first it's
vote.
the electorate. Not everybody votes, and I don't think I think most of the people in America don't vote, and I don't think it's half the country. So what I'm saying is, I don't think half the country.
So you're saying half the country didn't vote? I mean, but he did win the electoral and the popular vote. In that sense, you can say that that is the popular vote. You could also say that the people who didn't vote, right, left it up to left it up to whoever's voting, right? So in a way, they gave up their vote to give to, right, to whoever wins. So in a sense, the neutral party already voted, in a sense, right?
Is racist, and I don't think.
So in a sense, that neutral party then becomes, right, the part of the majority or popular vote. I mean, obviously, it's not viewed in that way, right? But he was chosen to become president, right?
Of MAGA is racist, but I do think that there's a huge element in the MAGA party that is racist,
And
whether they
those
are,
neutral
whether they
people
are
have to
conscious
eat
of it or
whoever
not.
becomes the president,
Some of them
right?
are not, and if they are not, they have had to overlook a lot of racism and a lot of bigotry. And if you do that and you say, "I'm okay with this," I think that makes you worse than someone who just say, "Hey,
okay, if you really think about it, the neutral party didn't vote because they viewed it as not needed, right? Or they didn't like any of the candidates. Or they liked the candidates, but they didn't like the candidates enough to vote for them. Right? They only cared about certain policies and that was it.
racist," and they tell you.
But some
Or
of
they
it is just a
didn't
backlash to what they think
didn't
was
care about
going too far.
who
like
won or
all these
lost.
corporations now that have
They're just
dropped
they're just
DEI.
there for the ride.
Now, in the government, they did it because he ordered
Backlash for what?
for too much DEI.
I don't think those people understand what DEI is. DEI is not the hiring of black people who are not qualified or
It can
people
be.
who are.
Well,
No. That's not what it's about.
It can have that result.
Yes, of course it could have that result, but there's no evidence that it does have that result. And
Oh, I
so
don't know about that.
Okay, so then
Even
what is your
Bill
evidence?
Maher's
There's no
pushing
evidence
back on
that
him
there
on
is
this one.
that
Oh,
result.
that's funny.
If you can show me the evidence, then okay, then I will agree with you.
Well, I'm not going to name any names.
Okay, but
I'll just say
diversity,
that.
equity, inclusion. First of all, is not. Maybe they're talking.
Bill Maher knows he can name some people. I don't know. Maybe some transportation people. I don't know. Maybe some judges or some politicians. I don't know. Maybe a Ketanji Brown Jackson might ring us. I'm sorry. He said he wasn't going to name names, but I
About
named some
affirmative action, which is a whole different thing, which is about making sure you hired, a certain number of people that are this, that, and that. But diversity, equity, and inclusion is about making sure that the pool of candidates is larger. So if you are fishing rather than
What do you mean? The pool has never been gated or closed. What? See, he thinks it was already gated or closed off. Like, the pool has never been gated or closed off. The pool has been always open for anyone able to, right, to sustain themselves on that stuff. Like, what?
fishing
I'm
in a
conf-
swimming pool, maybe you're in a pond. Rather than fishing in a pond, you're in a lake, or maybe in a lake instead of a river, or in a river and you're in the ocean. So you
See, I feel like he caged himself into this thinking. I feel like I feel like people like Don Lemon have caged themselves into this kind of thinking where it's regressive and it doesn't really help their cause. Right, and it's like they're playing the victim mentality on themselves when they shouldn't be. For whatever reason, they keep placing the victim mentality on themselves. And they think they're caged. And they think that there's always a gated place in some of these job choices.
You're just trying to find different people, and you're trying to increase the number of options of qualified people that you can hire. It's not.
What do you mean? Have you looked at America and how multicultural America is? So what do you mean by open? The pool has always been open. Like what?
Not about hiring people who are not qualified and who are just black. The biggest recipient of DEI is white women.
What?
And also veterans.
I hope Bill Maher is going to push back. I think he's obviously listening to him, but I think he's going to push
veterans,
back.
And also people who are disabled people. It's just about making sure that disabled people have a ramp somewhere at work. So
What? What do you mean? We always find accommodation for all. I'm confused. All jobs do this. All schools do. I don't know what he's trying to get at here, because we already do this. So what Don Lemon is saying doesn't make sense, because we already do this.
So that they get to work and make
Understood, but
whatever.
equity is the word, not equality.
That too, yeah, it's equity, not equality, right? Yes.
That it was a change that people noticed. Equality was everybody gets an equal shot. Equity is like, no, it's basically quotas. Equity is we're going.
It's quotas. I don't think that America's never been about everybody getting an equal shot.
No, it certainly hasn't been. No one's contesting that.
Well, obviously. I mean, opportunities are opportunities. They come and go.
No.
But that's what the idea, the old school liberal idea was we need to strive for equality. That changed to equity. This is what some people are against. And reasonable people
Also,
can
you will
disagree
never
with
get
on it
true
without being
equality,
racist.
especially
Having
with
said
the
that,
disparity
there are
of the
course
rich and
racists in
poor.
this country. There always will be, just like there will always be criminals.
I agree, but I
That
think the
too,
people
the
who are
criminal thing,
disagreeing
too.
about it, they need to understand exactly what it is. I think people who disagree may not understand what it is.
Black people are overrepresented. They're 13% of the population. They're overrepresented in everything. Look at commercials. Look at movies. Look at Don Lemon. Look at everybody on the media. You watch CNN.
Yeah, I mean,
everywhere,
look
but
at
they're
sports.
Still crying about
Dude,
equity.
Some
What we're
of these
saying on the
sports
right
are
is we just
heavily
want as
dominated
pure
by
of a meritocracy
black
system as
professional
possible.
sports
Is there going to be
athletes,
some
right?
discrimination? Sometimes, yes, there's going to be some racist people. Yes, some people are going to get hired because they're better looking. Yes, some people are going to be hired for a certain other reason. That is going to happen, but we don't want that to be in the law. We want it to be as pure of a meritocracy as possible. And by doing that, yes, if you're studying something like the STEM field, you're going to end up with more Asian people. That's just the way
Correct.
it is. But what, should we have a quota on Asians because they're
Yeah,
better at
it's like that too. Are you gonna just change people's preferences out of just thin air too? Like what are you trying to do exactly? Right? Asian people, white people, or Asian white, right? All these cultures, all these different ethnic backgrounds, they all grew up with different experiences. Right? Different religions and stuff like that. And they will flock to certain fields and jobs, careers. That's just life. That's humans. What? I'm confused. What?
this type of work than the rest of us? What the left doesn't like to tell you is that the highest paid group in America
I
is
mean,
Asian.
just look at who the fucking top streamers are right now. Like, just look at who content creators are. A very diverse group of people, ranging from white, black, Asian, right, European. Fucking, like, what are we doing here? Like, what is going on?
Asian women, the people that came into America years ago as the lowest, poorest class in the country. I shouldn't say lowest, but poorest class. That's a bad choice of words. Poorest class in the country
I
are now
mean,
the
it is
richest
what it
class in the
is,
country.
right?
Why? A high focus on education, two-parent households. I can go on and on. It's not about
Yeah.
race. Nobody should ever be hired
Yeah,
or get.
right. Yeah, it was never about race. It was whether you had the disposable income, or had the opportunity to be able to get into these institutions in a sense. or to better your life, right? Or wanting a better life.
Into university or get a promotion because
Yeah.
of race and or gender. And you can't cry that black people are not getting a fair shake when for 8 years we had a black president. The
True.
highest position in the country.
Yeah, that too. Right, you obviously have a lot of famous people who are black, right? There's a lot of famous black, like, what are we doing here? Why are we regressing to this dumb caveman brain bullshit? Like, what are we doing?
One could say the
It
highest
doesn't
position
make
in
any
the world
fucking
was a black man.
sense.
There are no laws in place in America, that's
No
why you can't say
sense at
systemically
all.
racist, that are there
So
to
we're
specifically
just gonna
advance
throw out all
But yeah, when you
logic,
have
throw
stuff like
out all
affirmative action,
thinking,
that was
just
there
just take your
specifically
brain
to
out and just
disfavor white
plop
people. And if
it
you
onto
hire
the
based
fucking
on
floor,
merit
I
all the
guess.
time, you will end up with a diverse
There's
pool of people.
nothing.
It is just going to happen. Some fields will have more women. Some fields will have more
Yeah,
white
exactly.
guys. Some fields will have more black guys. That is a cultural thing. But there's so many studies out there that prove
Yeah.
that if you're
I
a
mean,
black
just look at hairdressers or people who do I mean, you still have barbers who are male. But you also have female hairdressers too. So it's like you have a lot of hairdressers that are female. You have a lot of people who do like manicures and pedicures who are female, right? It's like right, there are certain jobs where women just flock to it. OnlyFans. But it's like right, you have jobs where only guys flock to it. Right? Miners, oil rig workers. Well, I mean, you might have some miners that are women, but they're probably just doing like administrative work or something like that, right? They're not actually like working in the mine. But yeah, right. I don't think any woman wants to do like hard physical labor in terms of doing like construction jobs and stuff like that. I mean, you obviously have some women who go into, right, athletic sports, right, combat sports, right, UFC, stuff like that. You do see people in judo competition, right, women's judo competitions, stuff like that. Right, there is a place for that stuff. It's just you guys are looking, you got the fucking horse blinders on or some shit. Or you're trying to rally some fucking you're like fighting ghosts or something, right? You're shadow boxing someone there that's not there, right?
Black kid from a poor neighborhood and a white
You're
kid
just
from the
making
same
shit up.
poor neighborhood, the same social economic class, that the black kid, if the black kid has two parents at home, a two-parent household, they put a good focus on his ethics and education, this black kid is statistically more likely to do better than the white kid who's from a single mother household.
Correct. Yeah.
Statistically more likely to not end up in jail if it's a girl, not end up as a pregnant teen, not end up incarcerated, not end up dropping out of high school. Don Lemon is still race baiting in 2025. The man's insane.
Yeah.
Shit's all coming to an end,
race
though. Hope you enjoyed
baiting,
the video. If you did smash that thumbs up
victim
button before you go.
card,
Consider subscribing to the channel.
throwing,
Happy
right?
Road.
He's
Catch you all
throwing
next
all
time.
the
Peace out,
fucking
everybody.
cards. Yeah, I don't know why Democrats keep doing this. They keep throwing out all these fucking cards, and it's just like, you gotta stop. You gotta stop acting like the fucking victim and stop, right? And stop defending criminals and all this criminal activity bullshit. Like, what are you doing with your life? Why are you like this? What happened to you? Who hurt you? Who hurt you? What is wrong with you? Base conservative. Anyways,